guys, Squdge here, welcome back to another Squdge craft video. Last week we looked at this album and we looked at these paper pine cones that I created, and so I'm going to show you today how I made these, and here is a kitten to say hello. So we're going to make a paper pine cone. You can do larger and smaller. I used my large and medium punches to make these. I do have an even smaller one, but I thought it would be a little bit too fiddly. So we're going to give it a go. So I have this punch, and what you need is a 6-petaled flower. That's the punch that you need. You're not getting treats now, baby. Good girl. So you need a 6-petaled flower punch. So this is the one that I have. And I'm going to do it on some craft card because pine cones are craft coloured. So I have this strip that I was using before. So let's get, okay. So you need 7 of these. So 7 of the flower shape. So 7 of those. And I'm going to put 5 together and then 2 over this side. Now the first thing we're going to do is shape these. So I've got some foam that I'm going to use. And I'm going to use this ball tool, which is a 5mm ball tool. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is pop a hole in the middle of every one. I used my foam mat that I got from some packaging. It came with my stamping platform. And I'm just putting a hole in the centre of each flower, as near as possible in the same spot. But it doesn't have to be perfect. This is handmade, not machine made, so there's going to be differences. The 2 that we have over here, we're going to cut these. So we're going to fold it in half so that we get this cute little cloud shape. So it's like a cartoon cloud, 3 little bubbles. Okay. The first one, we're going to cut down quite a lot. We're just going to flatten off that edge so you can see how much there I've cut off. Okay, I'm going to do that for all 3 bubbles. Cut it right down. So now we have a piece that is very squared off like that. Okay. Next one, we're going to fold this one in half, again to look like a cloud, but this time we're only going to cut off a small bit. So can you see the difference in size from the large piece we cut off to the small piece we cut off? So this one still looks like a petal, and all we're going to do is just basically notch the edges so it still looks like a petal. It's just going to be a bit of a like angular petal. So we're just taking a bit off the top and then a tiny triangle off the sides for all 3 petals. Okay. So now we have 3 shapes. We have the square flat ones, the short ones and the normal ones. 1 squared, 1 short, 5 normal. Okay, now we're going to shape them. So on the back, we're going to go round and curve up each edge. So we're just going to break the fibres in it like we were making a flower. So now each edge is slightly curved up, and then we're going to do a circle around that centre hole to make a little cup shape. We're going to do that for all of them. So as I said, we're going to go around each petal and just curve it, and then we're going to do a big circle in the middle, and you're going to end up with a cup shape. We're going to do that on all 5, and then for the 2 that we have cut down already, we are just going to do that centre circle so you get the cup shape. Once they're all cupped, you're going to turn it over. You are going to push down in the centre, which is going to give you then that stereotypical flower shape. And then you just want to make sure you can still see the hole in each one. So I'm just going to gently push my pokey tool through so that we've got the hole clearly visible. You need to know where you have poked that centre hole. Okay, now you need some really sharp scissors. Okay, you want scissors that cut to a very fine point. And on each flower, you are going to, where the centre is between each petal, you're going to cut up almost to the centre hole. But you don't want to cut any petals off. So just be very aware of where you've cut, because we're not cutting anything off, we're just separating the petals a bit more. Okay, so you can do that for all 7. Now I swapped this. On Twitch I did the cutting first and then I did the shaping, and I managed to break a couple of the petals off when I was trying to shape the pieces. So I have discovered that shaping first then cutting makes life easier. And then all I'm going to do is just push down in the middle again to reshape them. So they keep their cupped shape. Next you need some little wire. Now this wire I get from when I buy paper flowers. It usually comes attached to this wire, so I just cut it off and straightened it. You don't need a piece this long, I'm just leaving it this long to work with so I know how short to cut it when we're finished. So at one end you could use pliers, you could use scissors, you could use anything that you want. Just going to make a loop, like a little hook. It's not going to be a loop, it's going to be a hook. So at one end, make it a little bit thinner. There we go. So at one end my wire hooks round. So I've just got a hook, okay? Then you are going to need a very thin slither of tissue. You can use any colour tissue you like, but you just want a very thin strip. The way I would suggest doing it take a piece of tissue, fold it, fold it, fold it, and then cut a piece off. Rather than trying to cut a long straight line, this gives you a long thin strip nice and easily. Okay, so you want your strip of tissue that I've just broken, but that's okay. your floral wire and then some glue. Now I'm going to use art glitter glue. You can use any glue that you like. First thing I'm going to do is cover this hook in glue. And then I'm going to wrap the tissue around it. So we're going to get this sort of like little ball at the end. So we're just going to wrap this around. If it breaks, it's okay. You can re-stick it. It's not a problem. So you want to get a nice sort of like ball at the top. And I don't actually think I'm going to use this other piece of tissue. I think that ball is good enough. So now where my loop was, there is a little lump of tissue. Okay. The other thing you are going to need is some seed beads. Now these green ones have got clear ones in the middle, which is what I'm going to use. Cover your tissue blob in glue. Our small square one, we're going to thread the hole through the wire through the hole, bring this up to the top, and we're going to wrap these around the top piece. Okay. If you need to add a little bit more glue around, just to secure some pieces, that works too. And we're just going to pinch it all together. So now we've got the top of our pine cone. Okay, we're going to cover the whole of the bottom of it in glue, and this shorter one we're going to thread on, and then we're going to cut that all around as well. Okay, so now we've got a very tightly coiled one and the next one. Okay, and now we're going to use our seed beads. I'm going to add a layer of glue, get one of the clear seed beads, or whichever colour you want to use. I'm just using clear ones because I have clear ones. Come here. Yep. Thread the seed bead on to the wire. Push it into that glue. Then I'm going to add a touch more glue around the bottom of the seed bead. And then apply our first full-sized flower. I'm just going to push it up and kind of cup it around what we already have. Okay, repeat the process. Glue, seed bead, glue, flour. And I find it easier to hold this upside down so that gravity helps you attach the paper to the glue. Okay. Repeat the process again. Glue, seed bead, glue, flower piece. And you want to try and alternate the petals so that they are like you would do a flower, falling in between each other. Glue, seed bead, glue, flower, again try and alternate the petals just so that they look a bit more natural when it's done. And then the final layer, glue, seed bead, glue, and flower. See what I mean? We don't need this much wire, but it's nice to have that to hold it. Again, alternate your things, and then I just stand it upside down like that until my glue is dry. Okay, before we reveal the finished pine cones, if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing. It means the absolute world to me. Okay, so I've made them in 2 different colours, and all we're going to do now is get some tweezers. So I'm going to cut this one down so I have enough to make one more. Okay, I'll leave that one a sec because that one is still drying. Take this one, which is now dry, and all you need to do if you want to is just curve back. Just grab a couple of the edges and recurl them. With your tweezers, so just ever so slightly give them a curl. You're just giving them an ever so slight curl. You don't do every single one. You get some of them and just curl them back. And then you have your pine cone. So I used 2 different coloured cards to get a slightly different effect. There are the 2 pine cones. Now you could add maybe 2 more layers and do one of the long pine cones you get. It's entirely up to you. But I just think they look so cute on projects. If we bring our projects back in, they just look so cute on a project. And you can stretch them out, you can bend them up, you can do tiny ones with an even smaller punch. can see the size difference. And I do have a tiny one, but I think that it just would be too small to get the decoration in. So this is the larger pink one, and then this small one here is the yellow one. If you want to see the yellow one on its own, if we open this up here, here's one made with the yellow punch. So you can see the size difference. It's much, much smaller. But I think both are super cute. Super, super cute. So yeah, that is how to make a paper pine cone. Let me know what you think, and yeah, thank you so much for spending time with me today, guys. Keep crafting, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.